Hey guys, and welcome to this video tutorial on the C programming language. So in this tutorial, we want to write to a file. So I'm going to go ahead and create a description here. And I'm going to put in this program creates and writes to a .txt file. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So C has a lot of functions that we can use for opening, closing, and printing to a file, and all of them are in the stdio.h library. And these functions include things like fopen to open a file, um, then fclose to close a file, and fprintf to print to a file. All right, so let's go ahead and create our main function, and then return 0 if everything works out fine. Then we're going to create our file object. So file is also in the stdio.h library, I believe, and we need a file pointer, so I'm going to call it f. So star f is file pointer, and I'm going to set that equal to our fopen function to open our file. So fopen here, just like that. Now fopen takes in two parameters, which are strings or character pointers. And the first parameter, although it's a string, is also the name of our file. So I'm going to call the name of our file file.txt. And then the second parameter is the mode. So the mode is a string as well, but the mode depends on what we want to do with the file. So R will open an existing text file for reading purposes. W will open a text file for writing, and if it does not exist, then a new file is created. We have A, which opens a text file for writing in appending mode. If it does not exist, then a new file is created. And here your program will start appending content in the existing file content. So that's very important if we want to append to a file. Then you have R plus, which opens a text file for both reading and writing. And you have W plus, which also opens a text file for both reading and writing. And it first truncates the file to 0 length if it exists, otherwise creates a file if it does not exist. And then we have A plus, which opens a text file for both reading and writing. It creates the file if it does not exist, and the reading will start from the beginning, but writing can only be appended to the file. All right, so we want to just write to a file. So I'm going to do we could do W or W plus. So let's go ahead and do we could do W plus. All right. So let's do some checks here. So if um, F is null, so that means that fopen returned null. Then let's print to our console here that there is an error. So printf error opening the file. Maybe put a new line. All right. And then after that, we will return some code, maybe 1, saying that there was an error. All right, so let's print some text. And it's going to be a constant char. And we want it to be a string, so that's a char pointer. We're going to call it text. And text is going to be equal to write this to the file. Okay. And then semicolon at the end there. All right. And now we want to actually write this to the file. So we're going to use the fprintf function. And this is going to take in a file pointer, which we already have. It's called f. And then we're going to take in a string, right? So uh, it will be some text is what we're going to actually put in. And let's see, %s there, and then \n, and that text that we want to, and I'm sorry, and then the text that we actually want to put in, which is txt, and then semicolon. Okay, so this should print some text. Write this to the file. Pretty simple. Okay, now let's try to print maybe some floats and integers to the file. So print integers and floats. And so we'll create an integer, we'll call it I, and we'll set it equal to 1. And then we'll create a float, call it pi, and of course pi is equal to 3.14 and then 159, but I'll just do 3.14 for now. And then f print f. So this again prints to the file. Let me make sure I put this in the code here. Prints to the file, and again prints to the file. Okay, so we're gonna use fprintf again, and we need to take in the file pointer, and then we take in our string. So this will be maybe we'll write integer, and then %d where it writes the integer, put a comma, then write float, and %f where it will write the float, and then do a new line. And of course, those will be variables I and pi. And then we need our semicolon at the end. All right. Now, how about characters? Let's print a single character. So I'm gonna create a character, char. We're gonna call it C. It's gonna be our variable, and it's gonna contain the, or it's gonna be equal to the letter A. Now let's print this to our file. And again, we have to take in the file pointer and then our string. So I will say a character %c \n, and then of course we tell it what C is, or %c is C. And so now I should print a character A to the file. And last but not least, what we want to do is close the file. So we do that using the fclose function, and then we tell it which file to close. So it takes in a file pointer, and that's F, and then semicolon, and this should run. So let's give it a try. All right, so we didn't get the error opening file message. So how do we know that this ran? Well, let's see. Now I have stored my program here. This is where I have the untitled1.c program. So if we go down here, we see I have untitled1.c in this folder called C programming. So my file should be in the same location, and it is right here, file.txt. So wherever I have my program at, that's where my file is going to be located, since I opened it in the same location there with file.txt. But of course I could have, put something like maybe slash here, and like ghost or something, and then file.txt would have been in another directory called ghost. And I'm not sure if it's slash or if it's \, but one of the two will put it in another directory. So anyways, here we have our file. Let's go ahead and open it. And we can see that we have some text, which is what we wrote in our program right here. And then the %s is the text that we actually have up here, which says write this to a file. And we can see our integer. And here we have integer %d. So our %d is 1, so it prints out that 1. We have float here, and our float is pi, which is 3.14. And we have a character a. So we wrote to a file, which is like we wanted. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete this file. And I'm going to change this from writing to a file to reading a file. Now, let's see what happens. So again, R opens an existing text file for reading purposes. So right now that file.txt, I just deleted it, so it no longer exists. So let's see what fopen returns. And we see that fopen returns error opening file. And I misspelled opening. So again, we see error opening file. I'm just going to run it again. Okay. So error opening file. That's because, again, the file.txt file no longer exists because I deleted it, and it's telling us that there's no file to open. So thank you guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video on writing to a file, and I'll be sure to put up some more. Please leave likes, comments, questions, and thanks as always for watching. I'll be sure to put the code in the description below on my GitHub, and I'll see you all in the next video.